Hello everyone and welcome to the 60X Business Show. My name is Christian Kitumaini and together with my guests, we'll have different conversations about business, entrepreneurship and life. This is the show you've been waiting for. Stay tuned. In today's conversation, my guest is an amazing entrepreneur. He's the founder of Soho, which is a personal and group training studio here in Rwanda. He's a three-time Bax Gold boxing medalist. And in the studio, he's done Yannick Bashir. Yannick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
I'm excellent. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
It's really a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So on the 60X, we'll be spinning the wheel and randomly we'll select a number and from there I'll ask you a question. Are you ready?
Awesome. Yeah, 100% ready.
Over to you. What's your lucky number? You can go ahead and spin.
I'm a number 3 or number 5 guy.
Oh, okay. Let's see if you'll be able to get your lucky number.
Comes up.
The spin is taking long.
Ooh, 10.
Let's start with number 10.
Okay.
Wonderful. Can you share with me your story? Who is Yannick and how did you end up in fitness and boxing?
Okay, interesting. So I have had fitness all my life growing up. From the first moment I did my first push-up, I've been in love with fitness, and it helped me because I was very chubby as a young kid. So fitness did help me be fit and able to do sports that I've always loved, like football, tennis, and boxing. I started boxing quite late, at the age of 18, but without fitness, I would have never actually gotten there. Yeah.
Wonderful. And in the last few days, you launched Soho as a new brand.
Yes.
How is it linked to Soho Fitness we used to know 5 years ago, and what are some of the learnings?
Yes. So Soho now, as I like to call it actually, Soho 2.0. We have learned from the mistakes maybe we had done from the past, from the old Soho, and we have rebranded it. Try to make it a bit more relatable to the new fitness industry, which is you see most of the cross fitness classes being very popular and being actually very effective in terms of people seeing the results that they want when they go to the gym, and also a bit more personal because we believe we want to be personal with people, make them feel part of a community. I mean, there's a whole Soho fitness community, and we wanted to take it from there and continue that tradition, which we've been known for. Good community, good vibes, enjoyable workouts, and yeah, so is back and hopefully better.
Wonderful. So Soho 2.0 is back. You guys go and check it out. And maybe to build on that, for anyone who would like to maybe be a member, learn more, if you can tell them now, what can you tell them?
So now what we have done is we have created a workout experience, which basically means, let's say someone like yourself, you're busy, you have a busy day, and you can't make a specific class. We actually don't have specific time for classes. So our classes don't start, let's say, at 6 a.m. or 5 p.m. We start our class every 3 minutes. By saying that, it means you can literally come at any time and join a session. All our sessions are conducted with a trainer, and we have a mixture of boxing, functional training, and strength training in one. So you come, you do your workouts in less than an hour, you feel great, you have a huge boost of energy by the time you finish, and yeah, so I think it's with time, our aim is to be able to transform people from the moment they come to the moment they leave.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Let's spin the wheel for another round of questions.
Yes.
You got 10. What's going to be your next lucky number?
5, please.
You're not praying for 3?
Oh, that was close. In between.
In between 2 and 5.
Yes.
Wonderful. Can you share with me what motivates you as a person in life when it comes to fitness and living a healthy lifestyle? What push you every day?
Apart from the discipline that I've had growing up, participating in sports, football, boxing, I've always been very conscious of how I look and how I feel. Sometimes if I'm in a bad space mentally, physically, I think gym is my therapy.
Okay.
So I don't know how to explain it, but what gym does for me, it's great. I mean, I feel great. I reach a target and my mental state just becomes better. My physical appearance gets better, which is a bonus. But physical training for me, gym for me, is a huge therapy to me.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And talking about gym as a therapy, we saw during a pandemic an amazing motivational video about your journey from losing weight to being fit. Can you share with us some of the tips and the moments that helps you stay grounded to reach that big transformation?
Yes. During the pandemic was tough. You know, for everyone, pandemic was very challenging, and I think I got sucked into the staying at home and not being active and eating all sorts of stuff. So I mean, one day I just woke up and I was like, wow, what is this, you know? So I started slow. I think what people think is when you go back to the gym, you have to be 100% consistent. That's not the case. So if you're listening to this, even me, I'm not 100% consistent. You just get into you get a mindset where you're like, in 3 or 4 months, I want to be in this position. You start slow, 2 sessions a week, starting to improve on what to eat, the right type of food to eat, the food that you should stay away from. Also not being too harsh on yourself. And with time, you grow the discipline, and then the discipline then translates into consistency. And by the time you realize, you're reaching your goals, and when you see your goals, you want to keep going. And yeah.
Beautiful. That's nice. Let's spin the wheel for another round of questions.
Awesome.
You got 4, 10. What's going to be your next lucky number? Bingo. You got 5. Wonderful. And can you share with me, how does it feel to be an entrepreneur?
I think that feeling came from my father. My dad instilled in me the entrepreneurship spirits. So I have grown trying to find my place or my purpose. So I think once I came back home from the UK, I was able then to see what was lacking in Rwanda. When I came in Rwanda in 2015, there was not a boxing club. So I was looking around, I went to different gyms, didn't find one. Then I was like, hey, let me start my own boxing club. So then that's how literally Soho was born. I saw a problem and I was trying to look for a solution for it. And then from there on, Soho was born. That kind of pleased me because I kind of find my purpose. And I think with that, you learn how to be an entrepreneur. You go to university and you study, but entrepreneurship is a whole different cake. It's tough. You make mistakes, you learn from them, and keep going.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And what do you see is the biggest barrier for people you train on their transformation journey, and how do you help them in the process?
I think one is consistency and nutrition. We are kind of limited we have the best food, fresh food in Rwanda, but I also feel like we also consume a lot of carbs in Rwanda. So we try to help them balance the food that they eat to be able to have a sort of balanced diet that includes your complex carbs, your fats, and your protein. Once they get the hang of that, then we start seeing people transform their bodies.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Can you share with me what is your best advice you ever received in life?
Tough. Best advice I ever received in life. I think it was from my mom. So I used to love TV a lot when I was young. So every time I'll go and watch TV and ignore certain things like eating on time or doing my homework and, just being comfortable. And obviously as kids, we're a bit naive. My mom always say, this is your dad's TV, this is not your TV. And you're gonna have to work for your TV. So if you don't study, if you don't eat well, if you don't stay, not fit, but if you don't if you don't stay active, you won't be able to afford your TV when you grow up. So I think for me that always plays in my mind that I have to work hard to achieve things for myself in my life. Yes.
Wonderful. And talking about growth, growing up, do you have any regrets, any opportunity you missed that click always back?
Yes. Honestly, I don't like to say the word regret because I feel like you always end up where you're supposed to end up. But I'll say something maybe that I was working towards was to be a professional boxer. Then I was really close to fight for England at the Olympics in 2012, but then I got a nasty injury on my shoulder and that kind of killed everything for me. But I wouldn't say it's a regret because I'm now doing probably something that I really love and I'm passionate about. But that'll be something that will come close to that.
How did you feel the moment you had injury on your shoulder? Did you feel like your whole world was down? Walk us through that moment.
It was a dark moment because I was this close to participate in the Olympics. It was really dark. Honestly, like family comes into play and close friends. When I was going through my rehabilitation, I was also studying at university, so it was tough to think that I'm studying and some of my colleagues are going to fight, are going to compete. They're basically living my dream. But like I said, for me, once I got back in shape, I went back to the gym, trying to push again. It was kind of therapy, helped me through that tough period. But
Wonderful.
It's quite dark.
Let's spin the wheel for another round of questions.
Yes.
You got already your lucky number. Let's see if you'll be able to meet your 3. You got 6 next to 5.
Yes.
Wonderful. My follow-up question, is there something that you've learned as an entrepreneur that you had no clue about before starting about business?
Yeah, there's a few things. When I started Soho, it was out of passion. So no business past experience, nothing, no research. If this is a sport, maybe some people need. If it's a sport, maybe liked in the country that I'm going to open it in. But it was just a passion, and I think what I learned was, you should always educate yourself. I think Rwanda in itself, as a country, led by an amazing president, they have made business so easy to start. And what we sometimes don't know is that we also have access to information that we should go look for before starting a business. And I think for me, that was probably a huge mistake, not to do my homework before opening Soho the first time.
And that feeds into my follow-up question.
Yes.
Are there you've been running Soho Fitness 5 years ago. Are there some of the learnings from running your previous venture that's going to help, like they've opened your eyes with the new Soho version 0.2 that you're going to apply going forward?
Yes. Like I said, information is key. That's number 1. Number 2 is knowing what the market needs. Another thing, it was a combination of a lot of things. Maybe also having partners that don't understand your vision. not having a proper business plan, not for the next year, but for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the biggest mistakes, not having a proper business plan and sticking to it.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And I would like to understand what is the future plan of Soho 2.0? How do you want to position the brand within the Rwandan market and maybe beyond Rwanda?
Yes. So far, what we have come up with is a very compact business system that we can able to franchise, for example. It's easy to replicate it, easy to grow. Not saying that business is easy, but we are looking in the next year or so to open our second location, not just in Rwanda, but in the East African region. So that's the plan for the next 5 years.
Wonderful. And how do you see the fitness industry and healthy style living in Rwanda? Are we there yet? Are there some room for improvements? How are the people embracing living a healthy lifestyle? What's your take on that?
Honestly, it's growing really rapidly, and I really want to say this, and I really want people to understand. We are so blessed to have the President Kagame as our president, because for us, maybe we're taking it for granted, but to have a president who's pushing for the Sunday walks, for example, where he himself leading by example, first line, walking, people following him, that image in itself, that's huge, Not many countries have that, So when you see that, then it motivates younger people like us that, as a business and also as a way of living, fitness is starting to creep into the Rwanda community at a higher rate. And you're starting to see, when Soho opened, I think we were the 3rd private gym. Now we're probably the 8th or the 9th. So that in itself is a great evolution of fitness in Rwanda.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how does it feel when a customer comes to you maybe at the end of the month or at the end of certain periods and share their testimony about their journey with you? You personally, how does that make you feel?
It's why I do this, actually. It's why I do this. When I have someone come to me, or whenever we do like an assessment with a client, and you can see that they've made huge improvements, not just on the weight, but in terms of strength, in terms of their fitness level, it's very satisfying. I don't know how I can explain that feeling, but it's super satisfying. And just to see someone able to improve their life, and then you played a little part in it, is highly satisfying.
Okay. And on top of the workout program that you have,
yes,
do you have the diet element to it? What is the current combination of the two? Can you share with us how you also include the diet within the program?
Yes. So we consult our clients. The first thing you want to do is learn how to eat for your daily activities. We tend to eat things that don't help our bodies. It's like how I always tell people, if a car is a diesel car, you don't put petrol in it. If a car is petrol, you don't put diesel in it. So you have to learn how to eat for your body. If you're working out to be a power lifter, you have to learn how to eat like a power lifter. For everyday people who are trying to lose weight and they're doing juicing or they're eating just salads, it's not okay because you're not going to have enough energy. So we focus a lot on consulting clients, the right amount of food and the right type of food to eat to be able to achieve and to be able to do your physical activities of your everyday life, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, do you have a moment in time running your business and you felt like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, you wanted to quit? How does it feel and what helps you to stay grounded?
I want to quit every day, seriously. No, it's tough. Being an entrepreneur is tough because especially when you're starting, like when we started the first Soho, we were probably the first gym to have different classes that aren't aerobic classes. So you don't know how people are going to react to this. You're trying to make people understand. It's kind of like pioneering something new. and not knowing where you're heading. At least if someone had done it before, then you're like, okay, this is where they went wrong, this is what they did right, and you know, you get to a point where you're like it's not working, you know, and you feel like you want to quit, but then I really I don't waste even 2 seconds thinking in that way. I just snap out of it, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm confident in what I'm doing, and I'm gonna keep pushing until people understand what I'm doing.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And for people watching now who wondering, where is Soho? Where can I find them? And it's the end of the year. They wanna start planning about their New Year resolutions. And what message would you tell them, especially on program you have and where they can find you?
Yes, so we are based in Kimihurura. It's number 2 KG 637 Street. Opposite a restaurant called Lalibela. It's an Ethiopian restaurant. People always want to start week 1 of day 1 of the beginning of the year, but I would say that's the wrong mentality. The days to start is now. It's the next minute, it's the next hour. It's not, you don't have to wait until January to start, really. I would say start now. Go to Soho, get your membership. Let us improve your way of living in terms of fitness, in terms of a physical everyday activity. But we wouldn't say start in Jan, because you could get to Jan and say, no, I'll start in March, I'll start in April. Then it's December now, and you haven't started, and you know, you disappoint yourself. So I'll say, just say I'm gonna start tomorrow. I'll start now. I'll start today.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So don't wait. Don't procrastinate and wait.
Yes.
Start today. Reach out to Soho, and they're gonna help you on your transformation journey. My follow-up question, I would like to know, as Yannick, what pushes you every day to go to do the work that you do? What is your biggest motivation to do the work that you do?
I have seen what fitness has done for me. It has helped me a lot, like I said, mentally. And I'll say physically is a bonus. Physically for me, I used to train for a purpose. So I'll train to box, I'll train to play football. I used to train for a purpose. So sometimes people say, you know, are you training to be a bodybuilder? But it's not that. I think training, because we do a lot of things every day. Like we're sitting down right now, we pick things up. So I'll say train to be active and to be physical in shape to achieve things that you do every day in the long term. Yeah, so don't think about today. You might be strong today, but you might be very weak tomorrow. And also fitness is the biggest investments, because it will keep you away from the doctor, it will keep you away from the physio, it will keep you away from seeing chiropractors. So, and those services are quite expensive. So I'll say if you're smart, you go to the gym. Definitely.
Yes. So invest in your health now, and avoid an uncomfortable situation as you go up, as you go old. I would like to understand, for young entrepreneurs watching now, what advice would you tell them? You are into this journey. What advice would you share with them?
I'll say there's never a right time to do anything. So if you have an idea, if you have a goal, if you have something that's bothering you and you want to do it, I'll say do it now. Don't think too much about it. Take the step. I know sometimes people might say, I don't have the finance means, but like I said before, we're in a country where we have a president who is supporting young people to grow, to be entrepreneurs, to be creative. So I'll say, go for it, and trust me, don't be afraid to fail, because failure is the quickest way to success.
Wonderful. And if you could start over in business, what business would you start and why?
Soho. Fitness, 100%. Okay. I did try other businesses before Soho, and I was just not satisfied 100%. But I think with Soho, I am waking up every day, and it doesn't feel like I'm working, you know? So it's an amazing feeling to have. And I would say Soho all over and every day. I mean, I went away 5 years ago. Started 3 years ago, and I came back, and I'm reopening Soho again because that's my passion. And knowing what I've known in that journey, I'll say Soho every day, all day.
And you talk about moving back. How does it feel being back?
It feels amazing, honestly. I came back, the first time I came back home was 2006, and I was just in love. I was like, this is where I want to be, you know? I love that I was home. I love that I was in my country with my own people. I love that their direction. I think at that time, people were talking about like Vision 2020, and I was like, wow, you know? By the time Vision 2020 is there, I want to be able to stand and say that I've participated in that. So that was a huge motivation for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And let me wrap up this conversation with my last question. If you wake up in 2050, what headline would you like to see maybe in the New Times or the New York Times about Soho? Like the front page, what headline would you like to see?
I would want to see that we have changed 1,000 lives. I would want to see that we have branches all over East Africa, and maybe Europe, maybe Asia. And I would want to see people aspiring or people taking fitness as a priority in their life.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And I will build on that a follow-up question. You're talking about building branches, transforming life. Why is impacting people very, very dear and close to your heart?
I think for me and anyone who's in the fitness industry, I think if you're not doing it to impact other people's lives or change other people's life, from the moment they walk into the door to the moment they walk out, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. I think fitness is all about welcoming, creating community, a safe community for everyone. And if you are able to touch even one person, I feel like that should be the most satisfying for any gym owner or anyone who's aspiring to open a gym. So for me, number one is I want to transform people's lives because gym transforms my life. When I did the transformation video, from where I was to where I ended after the transformation video, honestly, has done great wonders. I wouldn't open Soho right now if I hadn't done the transformation. So transformation is huge, and I really hope for Soho to be that, a transformative training studio.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And by that, we are coming to the end of this conversation. Thanks a lot, Yannick, for making it to the show.
Thank you, Chris.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The conversation continues on social media using the hashtag 60xbusiness. Till next time, be safe, take care. My name is Christian Kitumaini, and you're watching KC2.